We have Naomi, Doug Hill, Hector, Cindy, NR, not sure who NR is, but I see you all the time. And Miss Debbie Layton. And then
Hello, Debbie Layton.
Know that name.
all right, good. So we're good there.
Let me get this on shared on over.
Hi, Yvette. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Brooke. Hi, Carolyn.
Hi, Elisa. Hi, Karana in YouTube.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hi, you guys.
Happy Cinco de Mayo, everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Happy.
I personally just ate a massive bowl of guacamole.
Yes.
Hi,
You know what's really
Boo.
sad here is that I've been dying for Chinese food, and they actually closed our Chinese restaurant.
No.
Yeah, I don't think that's right. Right?
Mm-mm. All restaurants should be able to run.
Yeah.
All right, so we're up. Rocking and
Greg,
rolling.
it says we're gonna. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it's popping up now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week of Messengers of Hope. We have some really good topics we're talking about today. I'm here with Karen, Jamie, Nicole, and Jessica. And I'm Jason. This is presented by the mastersoctave.org. The Masters Octave is a nonprofit organization to help you meet your spiritual divine nature. Check it out, themastersoctave.org. So, Cinco de Mayo.
I know.
Here we are. Yes. We were going to have some excellent Mexican food. Jamie had a great plan, but we went to the park today, so it was so beautiful out, and it got way too late. So we didn't get to have any good food yet. But
yeah, but we had remember I made the black beans with the corn and the avocado. That's kind of
lunch.
That was lunch.
Yes. That was so good. It was so
good. We're living in some crazy times right now, aren't we?
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
I don't, it's, it's really a clown's world today.
And we're well, the way that I'm looking at it, the top of us are in New Jersey, but you guys are in other places, right? And we all have different rules and regulations, and it's just crazy. Right. That it's all the same thing, and we're all treating it so differently. And to be honest with you, I've just about had it up to here.
Yeah. Could everyone in the chat, wherever you are, Facebook, YouTube, just let us know where you're from and what's kind of going on in your state. What's your local restrictions? Are you more free? Are you getting heavier restrictions now that Trump just came out today and forcing the economy to open across the country, which is great news. But we're going to see how those locals and states act instead.
Yeah, so we were talking about a good topic for tonight now, talking about how everything is backwards. And it really seems like everything is coming down now, now you have to wear a mask. You cannot go outside without wearing a mask. The businesses are very, very strict now. And it's interesting because 2 to 3 weeks ago when everything was really, I'm in New Jersey, when everything was really hitting hard here, it was okay, you can go in the homes and work. It's okay. Wear the mask when you're in the homes. But it wasn't crazy. And it seems like it's getting crazier now as the thing is diminishing, which is very, very strange. Very strange.
I think you were right. You said earlier you think they have a surplus of masks and now we have to use them.
Right?
Yeah. They made billions of masks. What are we going to do with all these masks? Now we have to wear them. Guys, you got to wear the mask everywhere you go. You take it off, throw it out. Don't even clean them. Just get rid of them.
I'm telling you, did you see the Washington Post today trying to make it seem like it's fashionable now to wear masks? And I swear to God, when that started, when I started seeing all these colored masks and stuff for sale, I was they're trying to program us to think it's cool. Mm-hmm. And I'm I'm sorry, are we in a Muslim country right now where we're forced to cover ourselves up? Because that's literally what they're programming us to do. To cover our faces, and before you know it, we're gonna have body masks because they're just gonna want us to basically be completely dehumanized.
Yeah.
There is I'm looking here on my feed. There are some people who don't want us to open up until there's a vaccine, right? And we are on the other side of the fence, kind of saying that this is crippling our economy. The government is overstepping. I can totally appreciate people's concerns about the
Virus.
to be honest with you, I'm not even a vaccine person. But there are concerns about it not being safe going out, right? Does anyone want to sort of address that, or how you got to where you feel? Or are we going too heavy here?
No. I think let's address it spiritually first. And what it really comes down to is your energy field. We have to understand that we are energetic beings. If you're watching the show, you obviously know what we're about. We're about energy, and understand that our bodies are energy. And it really comes down to us holding a high resonance, a high vibration within us. Now, if you look at the polarities of love and fear, and if you look at our reality, it's based on the electromagnetic spectrum. It's based on electricity, and it's based on magnetism. What do both of those have in common? They both work in repelling and attracting. They both have that principle inside where they repel and retract. Fear is repelling. Love is attracting. So when we are always in a state of fear, we're always repelling away, pushing away. We don't want that. We don't want that. And we're actually closing down ourselves. We're closing down our system. We talked about this in week 3. So what we want to do is get into a high vibration of love and allow ourselves to grow and allow ourselves to rejuvenate and regenerate. And we have that ability. But when we move into a state of fear, we are closing down our energetic centers. So when it comes to vaccines or external medicines, they're only here to assist the body, right? But we look at it from an energetic point of view, we can assist the body by holding a high resonance and removing the fear in our system. So that's so important to understand that we have the power. And the power is where you put your attention. So if it's going to open up or if it's not, it doesn't matter. It matters of where your attention and intention is. And you really want to hold a high resonance of love and compassion in your heart.
You also explained very clearly about how the fight or flight and the fear affects your physical body and its ability to fight off infection. You want to talk about that? I think that's really
so when you move into a state of fight or flight, what happens is all of your cells, you have 50 trillion cells inside of your body, and all your cells, they cannot see the outside world. They take all their information from what we're receiving through our 6 senses, really our 7 senses, right? So when we're receiving this information, it changes the physiology, the biology inside of us, and the chemicals and the responses, all based on our perception. And the number one thing that governs our cells is our mind. So what we're putting into our mind is what controls our insides. So fight or flight was actually designed for a good thing. It was designed to get us out of the way. So when you go into fight or flight, when something comes up, you have fear. Fear is a good response because you need to shut down a bunch of parts in the body and get some parts lit up to get out of the way, right? So you don't need to critically think. You don't have to think, oh, should I move? Should I run? No, that part shuts down. So that's the frontal cortex. The blood moves from the front of the head to the back of the head to move into reaction, get out of the way without you thinking about it. Then what happens is it suppresses the immune system because in that point in time, your body doesn't have to rejuvenate and heal. It needs to get all the blood from the viscera into the arms and legs and get you out of the way. The problem with that is when you suppress the immune system, the cells cannot rejuvenate, regenerate, and grow. So in a state of panic, fear in the moment, it's fantastic, gets you out of the way. But if you're sitting home and you're triggering this response of fight or flight, you're actually doing the same thing. You're having your cells go into a state of protection, because cells are either in protection or they're in a state of growth. That's it, growth or protection. So when you move into fight or flight and you move into fear, you put all of your cells into a state of protection where they're not growing. So if something does come into your body and it harms your body, call it a disease or a virus, and your cells are in a state of protection, guess what? It's going to take down that whole entire section of cells, and they can't rejuvenate and regenerate fast enough to repair because your body, your immune system is compromised because you were in a state of fear. You were in a state of a lower vibrational frequency. So we have homeostasis, which is where Everything is balance. And how we stay in homeostasis really is holding a high resonance, a high vibrational frequency inside of our minds and inside of our hearts. That is the key. We have the power to overcome anything external outside of us. You have the power, and you want to remain in a state of love.
Yeah. And even from a pathophysiology standpoint, because I love being the doctor and not having to practice Western medicine for what I've decided in my life. I love being the MD, but I love the way Jason explains it and always brings it both together, because when we're really doing that and we're spiking it, like exactly what he talked about, the visceral process and everything else, and we're made to run, when we're sitting here, what do I need to run from right now? I am in the safety of my own house. I see people in their own cars right now. I went to Costco, and as of tomorrow, Costco is demanding that you wear masks in Costco, I think probably nationwide. I don't know, probably worldwide. But I'm going to Costco last week knowing that this is all coming up. But I'm seeing people, and I'm not judging anyone when I say this, but I'm seeing people wearing masks in their own car. Why are you driving with a mask on? You are in the safety of your own car. And to do that, the way the way you're breathing the air, the way you're not allowing the natural airflow to function with all of the other atoms, the protons, neutrons within your car and your environment, we can create our own illnesses and sicknesses even just by doing that. I used to be in surgery for like 8 hours straight, one surgery 8 hours straight. And I'm telling you, every time I could take that mask off, I was taking that mask off. Like after a while, you don't want to be just breathing and circulating. What we don't really understand is we just created our own little environment there of even our own germs, because we're not cleaning these kinds of things out. And I'm sitting there, but exactly what you're talking about, the visceral process, everything else. We have the pathophysiology of the cortisol spikes as well, and all of our other hormones, how this all starts, our pineal gland, which we in energy world and spiritual world correlate to our third eye, right? The way, and I know Nicole loves talking about the pineal gland and third eye, and she's awesome at it. But like what we're really just recreating a whole nother pathophysiology within our body that we don't need to be doing. If I'm sitting in the safety of my own home, the sky's not falling, all these other things are in place. Why am I stressing myself out and spiking those cortisol levels? Increased cortisol levels, increased blood sugars, which increase aggravation, which increase people to get angry, and all that going on, we're creating more issues and problems for ourselves, and we decrease our immunity. So now we are putting ourselves more liable to pick things up.
Well, okay, so you saying that is quite interesting, because I literally experienced this 2 hours ago in the grocery store, because I refuse to wear a mask until tomorrow when it's illegal. Like, it's mandatory. Which doesn't, we're going to have to talk about this. Everything is backwards. Now that we're opening up, now all of a sudden everything's supposed to be stricter. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But I literally was in the grocery store today picking up avocados for Cinco de Mayo, and I had to round this corner, and this girl was wearing a mask, and it was a really tight section of the grocery store. So we came really close to one another, and she started going, oh my God, like this. And I'm just like, whoa, chill.
Wow.
And here's the thing. I see, you see people's eyes looking at you, and they're just getting angry and mean. So on top of the fear frequency, we're now dealing with an anger and resentment frequency, because somehow I'm responsible for you and your health. And this is the whole thing, this is why I don't subscribe to it, is because it's programming us to constantly look outside of ourselves for the answer, look outside of us for the cure. It's just constantly putting it on something else. And we have to always stay in ownership of our reality. And also, I live up in the mountain, I'm living up in Colorado right now. And so at 5,200 feet above sea level, I already don't have enough access to oxygen. You think I'm going to put on a mask and limit how much oxygen I can actually get in right now? The oxygen levels, here are already depleted as it is. And I don't understand how I see people running with a mask on. And you're not supposed to be breathing in that much carbon dioxide. It then makes your cells acidic. And it's like, what is going on? Where is the common sense? But No, you then have like all these people just programmed in fear, critical thinking off, and it's crazy.
So
Well, and
my
I'm not trying.
oh, sorry.
Go. I just
So,
want to. No, you're fine. I just really want to go on a little bit of what Nicole said. What when you're saying why are we people not understanding this, and you made a great point of why would you want to breathe that much carbon dioxide. And the sad part is those doctors, those of us going out and speaking about it, and I'm not saying let's all get conspiracy theorists here, I'm not saying all this stuff because then we just create more chaos, but there's censorship going on, and I'm not trying to open up that can of worms, but there's a lot of censorship. So you have those two doctors out of California that bring up data and everything else, and even let's say myself, but why are we getting taken off YouTube? Why are we getting taken off Facebook if we speak up towards something that is maybe an uneducated norm? And so I agree with Nicole, we're not utilizing common sense, but those people who are sharing common sense are also being censored in some way or some format. So everybody just please be aware of that and utilize your intuition to start to study, listen more, and try to use your intuition to find out what really resonates and what's really real truth and what's not. Don't go into the fear factor. Sorry, Jamie. I just wanted to go with that because it was really important about that carbon dioxide. And there are a lot of people trying to say the truth, but.
Well, with my experience with wearing the mask, when the seasons change, I get a cold sore every now and then. And I had one, and I had to go into the store, of course, with the mask on. I had to go to work with the mask on, and they spread all over my mouth. And I believe it's from wearing the mask. I've never had that many breakouts. I had like 8 breakouts. I don't even get that many a year. But I had it in 1 month.
And that just shows you how easy it is for germs to spread in a mask.
Yeah.
Well, wait, what do you have right there? You increased heat. Where does bacteria and viruses like to be? We like to, in warmth, right? You increase moisture. What does bacteria like to live in moisture? So now you have a warm, humid environment, which is
just so you know, when you cover your mouth like that, it changes.
I was purposely doing it. I was purposely doing it. But like when you, and because I know this is down here, but when you have a warm, humid environment, you're creating that environment. You're changing it. You have a lot of people now who are getting aphonic. They're having problems with their voice. We're not receiving the pollens. I said this early on when we did the show, like the first time. I can be a little bit OCD in a certain like nice way. I'm not OCD like, oh, I gotta like just like disinfect everything. But prior to all this, I was like wash my hands all the time, my little wet ones, disinfect things before I'm gonna eat and everything else. And I have allergies. The funny thing is I would wear a mask for when I'm gonna go cut like a lot of weeds or lawn. I'll wear my mask for that because there's so many pollens, there's so many things that it would create havoc in my allergy system, right? And asthma issues. But with all this, I haven't been wearing a mask. I haven't been wearing gloves. And I'm the kind of person, like I said, that I want to wipe down my hands after I touch a menu at a restaurant because you can feel the grittiness. You just know that maybe people haven't been as clean and everything else. But I'm not as freaked out about this with this virus. No judgment for anyone who's wearing a mask or gloves or anything like that. Do what you deserve to do to stay healthy. Completely. That's for you. But we are now, because we're wearing masks, we're not exposing ourselves to the pollens. We're not exposing ourselves to the normal things that we would in the spring or the fall season worldwide, which now is going to increase other illnesses because that's also part of our immune system. When we can expose ourselves slowly to these pollens that are out there, we're not having as many anaphylactic allergic reactions and everything else going on. So now with that humid environment and a lot of carbon dioxide that we're not getting, and yes, I understand the molecules are so small, oxygen does go past the mask. Yes, we do receive the oxygen in the way that our blood works, but it's still like we're changing the habitat of our body now. We are now changing our environment of our body. So our body is having to readapt.
This is the whole thing, is that we're all lowering our immune systems when we wear a mask. We're not able to interact with our environment in order to create herd immunity. And it's just going against modern day science, what we all know. And I mean, this is basic stuff. This is basic stuff that I'm pretty sure you learn at the very least, first year college or university, if you take a biology class or something like that, or physiology class. It's not, this is, and it's not hard to learn. And this is what I wanted to say earlier. I've always said this. People, take control of your education when it comes to your body and your health, because you do not want outside influences telling you what you don't want an authority outside of you on that. You always need to learn. I don't understand. I mean, I do understand. I know why the school systems have made that information less available to us, and people just think they got to depend on a doctor for all their answers. But this is what's really good about taking back your sovereignty. And if I could really briefly, tonight is a big night astrologically. The nodes are shifting out of Cancer Capricorn into Gemini Sagittarius. And this is huge for the awakening. I won't go too much into it, but what's happening is with the North Node going into Gemini and the South Node going into Sagittarius, we're collectively being forced to look for new solutions to how we learn, to how we gather information. And the solutions lie in Gemini, the North Node, which means we're going to have to look at more fact checking as opposed to what we feel is right. So it's less emotional, more mental, logical, critical thinking. And collectively for the next almost 2 years, a year and 20 months until January 2022, this is what collectively we're all going to be going through. So it's going to force and also assist massive awakening for people.
Perfectly put.
Well, I love that you share that too, because we're going into a full moon, which is releasing. And as we're going into this more investigative part, we're also starting to release. We're starting to release the negativity. We're starting to release the fears and everything around it. And I want to get back to our topic of where we said everything seems backwards from what we know. We're saying policies are getting more strict, even though we're opening up. We're talking about herd immunity. Actually, because we're not being around other people as well, in other formats, we're also increasing that fact that we're not utilizing herd immunity in normal other things that we would be exposing ourselves to. You think about the common germs, all of our bodies have MRSA. And so now we're not being exposed in certain ways to certain things that we normally would have been exposed to through this last couple of months. So it's going to be interesting to see what plays out and how they try to twist things. So everybody pay attention out there to see how things get twisted.
Well,
and use your inner...
We haven't heard from you in a bit. Why don't you tell us where you're really seeing things upside down, backwards?
Well, in my life, upside down backwards would be that I am a grandmother and I am separated from my family. And that is upside down backwards. They are pleading for me to be with them and help them. They're homeschooling. They're having a really, really hard time. And this is the role of the grandmother, and they're separating families. It's just not healthy. The kids aren't really allowed to play with other children. So children are not meant to be isolated. I mean, and I'm sure that a lot of the kids, and I'm not really judging the parents, but might be using, screen time to pass the day these days, because it's been overwhelming. I know my niece and her husband are working full time, and their son is in kindergarten. And so she has to do kindergarten work with them and get it done by a certain time. And she's working full time in her home with the other kid and her husband. And it's So anyway, that's upside down.
And that, what you were just talking about, it helps immunity when we are touching people and we're around people. It raises your frequency and it helps with immunity. Jason, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that's going backwards, but I like to put in the context of, Karen was saying, my thing is dying. But like Karen was saying before, somebody asked, about the vaccines. And you were talking about just before, Nicole, about do more research. Guys, you have to do more research. You can't take what's on the TV as face value, as fact. There's so much evidence coming out based at showing people who are in the field showing that the numbers are skewed. Something is completely off. And even the CDC, who put out the numbers, are saying that they have been taking in other illnesses and using them as COVID to really boost the numbers. That's right in the CDC's guidelines. So please do more fact checking.
It's important to know that there's a lot of tricks being played because COVID hasn't updated their other website. The website that most people go to isn't actually updated. It's the one that not everyone goes to.
Right.
I have someone on Facebook who has MS and who had COVID and who is having a really hard time, I guess, getting her head around what we're saying. Because she feels as though we're thinking very about ourselves and not about other people.
That's a really good topic, actually, because what is quarantine? This is the very thing about going backwards, upside down. Quarantine is quarantining the sick, not the healthy. So anyone who, like the woman on your Facebook, who has any sort of immune complications or anything like, or you're older, those are the people that need to stay home and quarantine themselves because they're at risk. Mm-hmm. But those of us who aren't, we should not have to stay inside. And so this is the whole upside down. And of course, it doesn't mean that we don't care about anyone who's sick. Of course we do. We want, if quarantine's going to help you stay safe and heal faster, then that's what you should be doing. But if you're healthy, this is backwards. This doesn't make any sense. It's not even what quarantine is. You don't quarantine healthy people. You quarantine sick people. But I think that's a really valid point. And I think, we should talk about the people who have had it because they did go through something. Yeah. Some people have really experienced a very high grade version of the virus.
Yes.
And I want to say, like, none of us are really saying that COVID isn't real. First of all, we all acknowledge it is something very real. And I want to thank her for bringing it up, first of all, again, because I think as we're having the conversation we're having, it may have been neglected to say we understand this is real. We do understand it's real. It is a real thing that's out there. The percentages of possibility of death, of course, when you have somebody that you're experiencing, somebody that's died of it, or somebody who's been hit by it very strong with a strong strain, like Nicole was just saying, it feels like it's 1,000,000 times percent that you can get it, right? Not the 0.039% of possible death, whatever that percentage is out there that they've been looking, and it looks like
0.001.
Right. Yeah. Well, like I was going to say, it depends on where you've been looking, what you've been seeing, and what you've been studying. And that's where we're saying study more. But it is a real issue. It is a real thing. But at the same point, I think like the variation of what people do experience, like how Nicole was saying, when you are sick, this is why they do put people in the hospital in quarantine. Mm-hmm. This is why, where I first started medical school was at Semmelweis, because what they had discovered, Semmelweis is who discovered how the interaction of the air chambers of everyone at the hospital, that's how everyone was getting infected, because they were going to the hospital, because they were sharing the same air amongst everyone. So now hospitals and everyone have to have different units to clean out the air, but that's why it's safe to be in that quarantine area. And you should be quarantined for your own health. My uncle has MS as well. He's been very cautious. So I love that you bring up the MS. Thank you. He's been very cautious. My sister has diabetes. They've been very cautious, and they've been thinking about where they are. And I do understand that the rest of us that are talking about going out and being out there, we need to be responsible as well about everyone else who is autoimmune issues and everything else. But I think that comes back into be sensible for your own health. Like Nicole was saying, like follow ways for your own health, but let's also be respectful of everyone else. We don't have to necessarily invade their privacy, but how about we wash our hands? How about we know where
Jessica, like that to me, that's just common sense. You should be washing your hands. Like we live in like a first world country. We all have hand soap, like these things to me are just like,
it should be, Nicole, but it's not always.
But this is the thing, they tell you, like, make sure you wash your hands. Like, it's almost like we're being talked to like we're dumb. That's my feeling, and I know that's like a harsh way. I'm pretty direct. I'm sorry, I just am. But it's like that kind of thing. It's to me, it's unacceptable. There's got to be better. It's got to be better than that. You know, like.
Well, how do we know? Someone is saying you don't know if you're carrying the germ, right? But how do you know if someone is carrying the flu or if someone is carrying something else that's contagious, right?
Or
like, how do we
allergies.
know?
Yeah, well, 80. They said that 1 in every 10 New Yorkers. I mean, the numbers are out. 1 in every 10 New Yorkers have had COVID, have had the antibody inside of them, which means they had it, and 84% of them didn't even know they had it. So how do they know? I mean, sometimes you have symptoms, sometimes you don't. But the thing is like Nicole was saying, the younger generation really doesn't get this. So the numbers are skewed. And for people who are older, you're 65 or older and you have underlying conditions, 1,000% should be quarantined and really safeguard. And all the money that we're bringing in, into the stimulus packages should really be going into them being protected while the rest of the economy can still be working. It's fascinating to see how you shut down everything when 1 in 10 New Yorkers have already had it. And yet here we are still going crazier with, you have to wear this, you got to do this, you got to do that. It's just, they know where the problem lies. They know who is very susceptible to getting it. I mean, the data is out. It just doesn't make sense where we're going with it.
And not to mention, we have non-essential workers who we don't know if they're carrying it either. When we're going around them, they're coming into our homes if they need to. We're going to the grocery stores around all these people we don't know are carrying. I mean, when you go to the grocery store, there's a lot of people there now, especially more than ever. Because there's nowhere else to go. There's nowhere else to go. So the grocery store, the Home Depot, all those places are crowded with people. Like you said, how do you know if you're not already around somebody who has the COVID, even if you are social distancing? It's or any virus or any bug.
Yeah. I have a comment here from Above Duality. Everything is controlled through consciousness. I get sick roughly every 10 years. I come into regular close contact with people with infectious diseases and never get sick. And we were talking about that. And this is all about, again, it comes down to creating your reality. You are the person in control of your reality. A lot of this depends on your belief systems. It depends on where you're keeping your own personal vibration, where your consciousness is. And, we've got to start taking responsibility for ourselves. If everyone took responsibility for ourselves, could you imagine how much easier things would be?
Yeah.
But that goes back to what you're saying. It should be common sense. And a lot of it, because of different programmings, because of different matrix kinds of issues, different things, it hasn't been common sense. So that's why we're here having these conversations. That's why we're here loving your guys' comments and questions and your energy, because it's bringing these things back to the surface so that we can be more aware and we can create it to be part of our everyday life. And now we can get into an energy flow where, let's take washing our hands as something that's simple, but also being respectful of other people's energy. And it's not just about illnesses, because if you look at it this way, I was having a discussion with a nurse and she's the one doing the swabs. None of them who are being swabbed and have been around positive people are getting infected. A lot of doctors, a lot of nurses are not being infected. Otherwise, you would think we'd be having huge things. But we have so many things that are silent carriers, silent killers out there, even in the sexual world, or different things that can be passed on, and we're not as worried. So consciously, let's be more aware of everything that we're a part of, but let's be more so aware of all of our energy, because just like that comment, Karen, that was made is so true. Or was it Jamie who just said it? Sorry. About not having get ill every 10 years or something like that, right? And she's in infectious disease area. So it goes back to our energy flow. What are our energy blockages? What are we allowing to block our energy flow so that we're creating more illness, getting more sick? And what are we doing that we're energetically blocking ourselves from connecting with other people's soul in a beautiful, happy, positive way?
Yeah.
Let's get back to connecting in that format,
And I think one of the questions that I think we all should be asking ourselves, especially, if we have a weakened immune system, This is a great opportunity for you to start looking inside of yourselves to ask why. You know, ask why that reality is there right now and start doing some of the shadow work. Everything is attached to emotions. It's attached to past trauma. It's attached to, you know, past belief systems and programs. You have so much power through your consciousness to shift your body's health. And this is a great opportunity for people to be going inward. For those who are sick or those who are more susceptible, is to kind of go, what can I do to increase my own energy field? What can I do to strengthen it? Because if your energy field is really strong, remember, like attracts like. And a virus, it ain't going to interact with you on your timeline if you've got a really strong, healthy field. It's going to just go right below you. It's energetically, it can't happen.
To use as an example, I went for a mammogram once a few years ago, and the doctor found a cyst and said it had to be aspirated. And I said, no, there's no cyst. I'm not going to have a cyst. I've shared this story many times, and the next week when I went to go have it aspirated, it was completely gone. There was nothing there. The technician was not able to find it. And so this is really what we're talking about. Your ability to heal your body, to stay healthy, your thoughts are powerful things, guys. Like, this is what we discuss every day at 11 o'clock on my place. And you are not going to get this. Like, you're just not going to. This is what you know. It's not believe, think, hope, whatever. This is what you know. It's not coming into my space. So
let's extend upon that. It's not just COVID-19. COVID-19 is the example, but let's find those ways to open up the energy field so that our financial issues and worries we're not going to get that. We're not going to get the bankruptcy that we're fearing. Let's extend upon exactly what Karen was talking about, or even like how you said, grandmas, you're being separated. Let's find the ways to now start reconnecting energetically with our grandchildren, our nieces and our nephews when we can't physically be seeing each other. Let's start to open up these heart doors. And maybe this is something we can walk into real quick, and let's take everyone through a process and an exercise since we still have some time. Let's start to open up our heart chakra. Let's start to open up our soul so that we can reconnect, so we can start bringing in this positivity. We can start bringing in this healing towards COVID-19, but also towards our finances, towards these manifestations, so that we're not in the fear-based factor anymore. We're not feeling like if we're coming out of zero back into things as we're opening the country back up, right? So that we feel like we're coming full-fledged back in with this positive gravitational pull, just like you're saying, like attracts like. So we're attracting the like in this new manifestation, just like even Nicole was saying earlier with how we're going into this investigative state for the next, what'd you say, year and a half, right? It is, or something, right?
Yeah, it's about
Nicole?
20 months. It's about 20 months.
20 months, so that we can be doing this in a beautiful way. Why don't we go through something like that? And especially because we're going into the full moon right now, so that we can do that prior to getting off as well.
I think that's a great idea. Can I just mention something about the full moon? Because it really relates to everything that we're talking about right now. And it talks about this idea of going inward to ask yourself, what am I doing immune-wise to create my reality this way? This Scorpio full moon is making it's got a trine with
Neptune and Pisces.
No, it's got a trine with Pluto. Okay, to the sun and the moon. And Pluto is the planet of transformation.
Yeah.
And it's also got a trine to Sun and Mercury, because Mercury and the Sun are very close together in Taurus. And so that's influencing this, and it's really causing us to purge. It's time to purge. It's time to change. If you don't like it, tough, change is coming. And one of the things that's really come up is it's time to detox. And funnily enough, I had no idea, because I hadn't looked at the astro charts until yesterday. But on Friday, I started a detox. I'm on day 5 today. And I had the most intense Scorpio uploading, full moon coming in, like purge last night, tears, emotions coming out, like so much stuff. And I think now is a really good time to we're being called by this full moon to really go in and saying, what am I creating within my reality that's just not serving me anymore? What needs to change? And a lot of it could also be helpful with Mercury being the planet of information and communication, maybe perhaps how you get your information and how you get clarity, because the sun represents clarity, right? And of course, with it being in the sign of Taurus, Taurus represents safety, okay? And that's what's being challenged right now, how all of us feel safe. So how do you get your information in order for you to create a field of energy that helps you feel safe in it right now? I think that's one of the things that could be really helpful if people were willing to kind of go into that dark space. And it's scary. I know it's so scary because you don't know what you're going to uncover. And for me, like an hour and a half bawling my eyes out, like it's not fun, but it's healing. It's relieving afterwards, you know?
Yeah, I was going to emphasize that this is a very healing full moon. It's in the sign of Scorpio, and like you said, it's trining Pluto, which is rules Scorpio. Lots of healing energy there. I really see us coming out of this COVID with all this healing energy and release of letting go of all this fear that we're holding on to through this full moon. It's going to be very transformational. Pluto is transformation.
And don't forget, we're coming out and releasing not just COVID-19 and all the healing from this. Allow ourselves that we've been sitting in our home and bringing up all of our old snakes, our old everything else, our old shadows, and we've all these memories, even for people who aren't as much into the energy work as maybe all of us or most of you out there are. Everyone's been feeling this. So it's all surfacing for everyone. So it's healing in all ways, in all formats, just not COVID-19. COVID-19 is the representation, but think about it, the virus for your life, of the past part of your life. I'm 43, just turned 43. Nicole's having her birthday too here.
Tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Nicole.
Oh, happy
birthday.
Mine was a few weeks ago. So we're all getting to celebrate it here together. And what a beautiful time that we're all coming into these new places. So this is really a time that you get to release that virus of your life and get your antibodies, get everything else, and just see it in that new, beautiful way so we can transform these energies into such a positive place for everything we deserve to be coming. Remember, God is speaking to us in such loud, profound ways with all of these instruments, all these tools out there. So listen to your soul language and don't get stuck in the hoopla of everything else around it. Celebrate life and celebrate the positivity, because the rewards are here. It is the time.
Yeah, so when it comes to you individually, like you watching this right now, a couple weeks ago I read something with an excerpt from Visions, a book, phenomenal book. You can check it out. It's on my YouTube channel. But they were talking about evil spirits and what evil spirits are. So evil spirits are negative attitudes, destructive emotions rooted in fear. And some of the most common evil spirits are resentment, anger, shame, guilt, anxiety, hatred, greed, revenge, and jealousy. Now, what I want you to do is think about your experience right now. Are you harboring any resentment, any anger, maybe anger towards the government, any shame for yourself or someone else, any guilt, anxiety, hatred, greed, revenge, jealousy? Like, these are the things you personally, nothing to do with anybody out there. Remember talking about 50 trillion cells inside of you, you're in control of them. If you're holding on to any of these negative entities inside of you, and a negative entity is a negative energy that's inside of you, you are the one holding it. This is the time with this full moon, this release, we're moving into these new nodes. This is really the time to really sit with yourself and really start healing yourself. It's so important. You have to take the reins. No one's going to do this for you. I mean, we can sit here and guide you. You can have a session with me. You can have a session with Nicole. You can have a session with Karen, with Jamie, with Jessica. You can come and have a session with us. We can help you. But the thing is you really have to take this opportunity for yourself and do the work yourself. It's not that hard. Just sit in meditation and figure out, what are you holding on to? And is it of a higher vibration? When I say Trump, what comes to your mind when I say the word Trump? President Trump. Are you angry? Do you have hatred? When I say Democrat, do you have anger? Do you have hatred? When I say Republican, is there hatred? deserve revenge? What comes to your mind? What emotion arises? And that emotion has nothing to do with anything out here. It has to do with what's in here. Nothing out here should be affecting you in here to create anger, to create revenge, to create resentment, to create guilt, shame, and anger. None of this out here should be affecting you internally, because it's only going to make you sick. And the beginning of that quote says, disease is not caused by germs, toxins, viruses, excessive radioactive, aka 5G, microbes, bacteria, or any other physical ailment. Again, disease is not caused by this. Such things are present in every day. Thousands of them pass through the human body. But such agents only are destructive when they do not pass through the human body and are retained instead. And the only reason they are retained is because within the human system, that negative energy has a place to attach. And it attaches to your anger, your resentment, and your greed. And it comes in and it goes, oh, I have a place to go and hang out. And then it brings your immune system down and brings you down physically. So if I say the word Republican, Democrat, Trump, if that has any emotion inside of you, the government, emotion flares up. You have to work that out within you. You have the power to change that and not let anything affect you internally. Externally, whatever. Internally, you should be completely at peace and take this time to become at peace, become one, become present, become aware.
Right on. And Above Duality says, give this man talking a beer.
Well, actually, Jamie, my wife here, and I just started a detox as well.
How about green one? Yeah. You know, what you were just saying was so perfect. And it's a good reminder of to check your own neutrality, because that's the 0 point field. Check your own neutrality on everything. Where are you getting triggered? Because if you're getting triggered, and trust me, girl right here is still getting triggered. So I know there's still stuff to be working on. We've all got it. You know, like, just be honest with yourself. Don't judge yourself. Just be honest. Like, okay, I'm getting triggered there. Like, there's something I gotta look into, you know, and I need to neutralize it. And it's about getting back to that 0 point, the field of singularity.
It really is.
Yeah, I had a really cool experience this week. I was kind of like going down that rabbit hole and getting triggered myself. I know exactly what you're talking about. And it put me in a little bit of a funk for a while. And one day I was looking at my mirror and I was like, you know what? I like to say affirmations in the mirror. I like mirror work to me. I like to reflect back how I feel. And so I decided I was going to write with lipstick certain words on my mirror to remind me of who I am and, you know, what makes me happy, all those things. Well, I had problems writing a few words and I would misspell them over again. My hand wouldn't want to work properly. And it made me realize I'm resisting that. That's the evil that Jay's talking about with those entities. You know, it's blocking me from being my true self, my happy self. And right before, you know, I did that on the mirror, I wasn't really dreaming as much. And after I finally got all those words out and realized, oh my gosh, I'm resisting this. And one of the words was powerful. I'm resisting my power, you know, like once I really sat down and got it and realized I was doing it. Well, after I realized I was resisting, I wrote the word perfectly, no problem. I started to dream. I've been much happier. I've learned to, you know, not get so triggered, but I still do too. I understand what you're saying. But it's really important to like, or it just, an idea, take a step back and try to write certain words. And if you're resisting that, investigate it, because we may not even know we're resisting things. So this is just a tool to just see what are you resisting if you don't know.
Yeah, Hector has a great question here. How do you know the difference between if you need healing with a doctor or spiritually? Now, I personally would say always go to spirit first. Always go to within first and really work on that. And also at the same time, depending on what the illness is, see a doctor. But I would always say it always starts from within. And how connected are you to spirit? How connected are you to source? Starting with that as the main connection, the main issue. So now whenever I get sick, as soon as I get sick, I have a meditation that I do. It's a chakra meditation. It's about an hour long. And I'll go in and do that chakra meditation. And 99.9% of the time, it runs through me pretty quickly. It's like a day and it's gone. I did have an issue a few years back where I did my meditation and it wasn't helping. It just kept on coming and coming. And I play ice hockey and I got a concussion, and the concussion came back. It was a post-concussion syndrome. So it was the chakra balancing wasn't helping the concussion. So I went and seen a doctor. So if you're having something that's, persistent, see a doctor, but always start working on yourself first. Always go internal and for yourself.
The first place I go when I'm not feeling well and my body is acting up is actually Louise Hay's chart.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, it's a good one. And it's free online. You guys can find it online.
Yeah, it's Louise Hay's ailments, I believe it's under, if you Google it.
Yeah, it's a great one.
So,
right?
Yeah, I have, this book is really good. I don't know if you guys can see it, the light.
The Secret Language of the Body?
Yeah.
The Secret Language of the Body, yeah.
Of your body,
by Ina Segal. This is everything. I can't tell you how spot on this is with me for everything. I have self-healed almost major things in my body, but I think it's important to, doctors are really good for emergency medicine. That's kind of the way the whole thing's been set up, is around the triage kind of format. So if you're in an emergency, you really should go see a doctor.
Yes.
But if it's something it's not too severe yet, you're just getting some symptoms, try to go within. Your body is always talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm always going to say, if you feel like you need to go see a doctor, go see a doctor. Don't ever hold back. Don't ever prolong things. Don't make things worse. Okay.
Definitely.
So none of us are saying don't go see a doctor. None of us are saying try this for a month before you ever go there. We're not doing that. Eventually, like Nicole said, take responsibility for your health care. But I think it's very important, even if you are going to go see a doctor, do go within. Do connect with spirit, because it doesn't matter if it's an antibiotic you're needing. It doesn't matter if it's a pharmaceutical drug that you need, like insulin for diabetes, right? Unless you really do go into a place of self-love and connecting with spirit, can you not manage it in a much better place? You will be more out of control. Your diabetes will be more out of control. You're going to be having a lot more higher blood sugars, lower blood sugars, and everything. When we're out of whack and we're not in that spiritual place, we're not going to be able to get things functioning. The reason I use diabetes is because we do need, for someone who's type 1, they need insulin to survive, right? So you can't just sit here really and just say okay, I'm just going to let here kumbaya and let spirit take care of it all. We do need that insulin in order to function, right? To regulate our blood sugars. And I think it's important that we look at certain things in certain ways and factors. But there are other natural things you can bring in. There's certain natural foods. There's certain natural health things you can bring in, and getting centered that will reduce your risk of taking so much insulin, which causes other issues and other problems, right? So I think you can have a beautiful merger of the two when it's necessary. But I really do believe, get connected with spirit. Just like Nicole was saying, I have healed a lot of things in my own life, and I have worked with so many clients, especially being a medical medium, for them to heal things and to reset themselves and be in such a beautiful place where cancers are gone. So many different things have resided and left. Now, not everyone's going to heal in a physical way from those things, but you start to feel emotionally, spiritually, in so many different formats. And you heal in new ways that are more important to you sometimes than that physical healing. So just go within on that part. And I want to say that if you don't have the book Nicole was showing you, if you don't go, just Google, Hector's saying my stomach hurts. Spiritual meaning of stomach pain. Start to do it, because just like Jamie was saying earlier, how you can't write certain words are going to resonate, and you'll start to understand what the problems and issues are and what's been manifesting within your body. So my stomach hurts in the morning, especially if I need to travel or leave the house. I've been to doctors, but nothing. So I'm left in the same situation. It's been nice since I was in it's been since I've been in middle school. It's not that bad, but it does get in the way sometimes. So anybody want to touch on that?
Yes, I would love
the
to.
Secret language of Nicole?
The secret language of your body.
of your body.
Ina Segal. INNASEGAL.
Yes. So Hector, I would love to work with you. Right there is my website. It's posted up there, jlayton.com. Right now, I'm doing all my work for donation. I can definitely help you. So hit me up. Let's do some work, and we can get rid of that for you. I mean, it's just energy. It could be a trauma from when you were in the womb. Who knows? We can go in there and figure out where that traumatic experience came from, remove the block so the energy can move freely. Most 99% of illnesses are emotions. It's energy. We have to understand we are an energetic being, and the energy has to flow freely. When there's a block, the energy can't flow freely and it stops. When the energy stops, ailments dis-ease, which means a slower vibrational frequency of homeostasis of the cells because of the energy blockage right there. So hit me up. I would love to work with you.
It was so funny that you just said that. You're like, we're energetic beings, and when, we're going through trauma, we're being blocked, right? Or something along the lines. And right now, we're all going through a blockage. We're all being blocked. So we're all going through this energetic trauma right now.
Yeah, we are. And I love the way Nicole was saying it. She's like, I was like crying. Like there's like we're all going through something. Well, this energy is shifting. There's a massive energy shift inside of our realm that's happening right now. It's massive. It's happening. The whole construct, the whole reality is resetting. There's a whole new thing coming in. And there's so many different ideas of what's happening. I can tell you for sure, it's been prophesied. The energy in our realm is raising. You can see in the Schumann cavity resonance how it's peaking up and peaking up and peaking up. The Schumann cavity resonance is the electric that's inside of the ionosphere. So when lightning hits, it rings like a bell and it creates this vibration, which means that there's more electricity manifesting inside of our realm right now. That's why the Schumann cavity is rising. It's about electricity in our reality. The energy is rising. There's so much energy coming in right now, and we're all dealing with it in certain different ways. We're like, well, what's going on, But the energy is rising, and each one of us has to do the work right now. We have to do the work.
Well, that's why we're forced to.
That's why I'm detoxing. I'm not having wine tonight.
And on Hector,
really quickly, Jason, the meditation that you mentioned, people in my chat want to know where to get it, access it. Did you mention a meditation?
I do have a meditation for healing as well. Yeah, I do have.
Yeah, that. Where can you where is it on your YouTube, the Masters Octave channel, or?
It's on J Layton channel. So if you go to YouTube, I think it's /C user. I'll pull it up. But yeah, it's J Layton. So if you go to YouTube and type in J Layton, it's right there. It's
okay, I'll grab it right now.
And on Hector, your stomach issue, a lot of it's going back to when you're a younger boy. So it's an energy block when you're a younger boy. That's part of what your grandmother and the energies are coming in and saying as well. So when you're hitting up Jason for that assistance, just open yourself up to following where he's going to take you down that path. Just know that this is also a confirmation for you to understand. And that's where that energy block has been there, because that's why it comes and goes and comes and goes. Because if you think about it, certain traumas and certain things that we have at different points in our life, it's not in our mind every single day. But when you're starting off your day fresh and you're saying it happens in the morning for the most part, and then you're saying it's kind of like morning sickness, you hope you're not pregnant, is what he made a comment on the chat.
Yeah, that was good.
That's why, because you're more in that innocence place of where things have come up from the dream world and these things that you're trying to release, but you're not thinking about it. And then as your day goes on, you suppress and oppress a lot of those memories. So Jason's amazing as well as taking people through those stages. So just be open to it. And I'm saying that because I know him, and he would know that this is like a real message coming through. So as you're working with Jason, be open to that. Open up yourself and just be free flowing to it. And everybody else, when we're really trying to work through something, when I'm working with people as a medical medium and stuff like that, when you open yourself up, it's amazing how quick that energy flows. It's amazing how quick things manifest and how quick you get through there. I think we should just definitely, like, we're coming up on the top of the hour, and we really should just let's transmute this energy into something positive. So we send everyone off into this new moon and into this beautiful place before next week's webinar, and then that way we can just kind of get everyone into that beautiful thing about how the virus doesn't affect us as much, and our viruses of our life, not COVID-19 necessarily, but all of our virus, all of our junk and that negative energy out there, so we can get back into that positive space, and we can be that grandma that's connected with our grandchild, and we can see things right side up, not upside down.
Yes, heck, you should. Nicole, I think I was mentioning the book.
He said how, Jay. He wants to know how.
Oh, I put up more jlayton.com. Just go to jlayton.com and you'll see schedule a session.
Consultation.
Yeah, go to schedule consultation, and then we'll do a 30-minute consultation, and then I'll give you all the details there. But again, I'm doing all of my work until June 31st for donation to the Masters Octave, which is my nonprofit organization. But Nicole, I think I was talking about the book Visions. I don't know if they were talking about that from my YouTube. But anyway,
it wasn't the COVID meditation?
It could be the COVID meditation. I mean, that's out there as well. So
okay, well, I sent them the COVID meditation link, and so guys, you're on his channel now, so you can
you can go right to Visions and see that as well. Yeah. And Nicole, your meditation was phenomenal last week. I mean, that was fantastic.
Oh, the Hero Awakens, thank you.
Yeah, that was great. So guys, definitely check out Nicole's channel and get that meditation as well. But,
and please, guys, after the show, join me on the Enlighten Up channel in 30 minutes with David Rodriguez, the heavyweight boxer who's really bringing some amazing energy to the table when it comes to awakening, spirituality, and really activating the hero within all of us. He's doing what every one of us is capable of doing. So please join me in 30 minutes there.
Yeah, I'm excited for that interview. It's going to be a good one.
Jay, do you want to take us through a little transmutation? Because you're really good at that.
Sure.
I put you on the spot.
Yeah, it's fine. Jessica, do you want to do it? You keep on bringing it up. I mean,
yeah. Yes.
It doesn't matter who does it. I just know we need to do it. We deserve to do it for all of us here right now and everyone that's going to be watching it later.
All right.
So I'm like, I good to do it. You good to do it. We all do it. It's all collectively going to get done.
It's all going to come out. Yeah, sure. Just,
were you looking something up? Were you looking up your background music there, Jay?
I'm going to put on some nice soothing background music right now from WT2. No, I want to put that appointment in the chat for Hector there. Yeah, Hector, definitely hit me up, brother. All right, so my favorite thing to do is really balance the chakras, because the chakras are energy nodes. Echo? Hello? Yeah?
I hear you.
Echo, check.
You got an echo now.
Really?
You've always had a bit of an echo since we started.
Oh, really? Maybe Jamie. Oh, the door's open. No. Yeah, there we go. Is it there? Can you hear it now?
No.
Check.
There's still an echo.
It's okay though. It's not major. It's okay.
Okay. So what I like to do is work with the chakras. The chakras are nodal energy points inside of our bodies. And there's 7 major chakras, 144 chakras throughout the whole entire body. But the 7 major chakras, most everybody knows what they are. And what they are is they're nodal spots where energy collects inside of us. And each chakra represents a different aspect in our lives. So what I like to do is go through the chakras and clear them out. So you have 7 chakras right here. Your top chakra is your crown chakra. Then you have your third eye, which is your third eye chakra, your pineal gland. Then you have your throat chakra, your heart chakra, your solar plex, and your root, and the, what am I forgetting here?
Sacral.
Sacral's in the middle. So these chakras, once they're opened and aligned, the energy flows freely. So if you look at the top 3 chakras, these are your intellectual chakras. Where do thoughts come from? Thoughts come in here, right? This is all the intellectual stuff. The lower 3 chakras are your root chakra. This is your emotions. So your emotions, your gut feeling sits inside of the 3 lower chakras. And the emotions and the thoughts, they meet at your heart and they create the feeling, the expression of our reality, the expression of our world. So it comes down and then it comes up and then it meets at your heart and then it projects out and around us and it creates our reality. So what I like to do is for a quick just a quick way to do it is you take 3 fingers like this, right? And you'd put it here, and then you'd put one on your sacral, which your sacral is right below your belly button. If you take your thumb, it's right below your belly button. So you put it there, and then you put it at your heart, and then you have it go out and around you. And the idea is you're bringing in the energy from source, and you're bringing it through your 3 top chakras, and then you're bringing the energy up from Gaia, Mother Earth, and you're grounding yourself. So now you're bringing in this high energy and this grounding energy, and you're meeting it at your heart, and you're balancing your whole entire body. You're recharging, and you're opening all of the energy inside of your body. Real quick, this is interesting. They just started using ultraviolet light to heal in the body. We talked about it last week, right? The ultraviolet light inside of the visible light spectrum and in the chakra system is the crown chakra. The crown chakra is ultraviolet light, which is a very, 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 very high frequency. Infrared is the root chakra. It's a very low frequency. That's why emotions are they stay forever, right? Thoughts come in 80,000 a day. Emotions are here for a very long time. That's why they can seep into our subconscious for a very long time. So that's why we have a lot of thoughts, because we're in the ultraviolet light spectrum, and then in the root chakra is where it's slower. So we want to clean out all these things. So what I do is I imagine the energy coming from the heaven. So we'll close our eyes. Take a nice deep breath in. And now take your 3 fingers and put them on your sacral chakra. It's right below your belly button. And it's the color orange. So you can think of the color orange. And what you're doing is breathing into that spot, balancing, opening, and charging your emotions. So all your emotional energy is being charged, balanced, and opened. And as you're breathing in, just think of joy and happiness and compassion. Think of someone you love or something you love. Really feel that emotion. Feel that charging up, opening up. Now imagine a beam of light coming from the center of the earth all the way up through your root chakra, your sacral chakra, your solar plexus, and then meeting at your heart. Imagine this grounding energy coming up, grounding all of your emotions, grounding into your heart. And now take your fingers, your hand, and put it on your third eye. This is going to balance your intellectual chakras. It's going to balance your thoughts. We need to balance our thoughts, charge and open. And what we're opening up to is universal energy. So see a beautiful beam of white shimmering light coming down from the center of the universe, down through the top of your head, your crown chakra, down through your third eye, down through your throat, and locking in at your heart. Balancing, charging, and opening. And now take both of your hands and put them over your heart chakra, hand over hand. And really feel the pulsation of your heart. Hear your heartbeat. Feel your heart chakra opening up. Feel it charging. And feel the balance. And now as you breathe in, imagine simultaneously the light coming from the universe, from above, all the way down, and from Gaia, from the center of Earth, all the way up. Simultaneously, this energy is coming in as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, you exhale and push out the energy around you into the room around you, into your town, and into the world. All right, you can open up your eyes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So the idea is to really feel the vibrations inside of you and really get them firing up. And it really clears out your mind. Your mind, especially right before you're going to go into a meditation, like your own meditation without being guided. It's a great way to make the connection to Source and to Mother Earth for the grounding, to really receive the higher energies and the guidance.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, everyone, for such an awesome. This was great.
Yeah.
Everybody have a beautiful evening, and those of you who are free, go ahead and catch Nicole on Enlighten Up.
Yeah, I'll be there. Can't wait to see this show.
Yeah,
I've
let's
been
light the
waiting for
chat
this
up.
one. I've been waiting for this one.
And
yeah.
Very
yeah,
exciting.
and the rest of you all, I've been getting some questions as well of where to find me or whatever else. I do those free connection sessions for everyone, especially the first time clients. So hit me up at enlightencircles.com and we'll see you there. And everyone else, follow us on Masters Octave. But Nicole, that's going to be so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have Nicole at
inflexibleme.com.
inflexibleme.com, Karen Borga at Awaken
with Angels, and I am on 11 a.m. weekdays and 11 a.m. on Saturday with my husband, who's a reader. We do mini readings for an hour, 11 o'clock, just about every day. Sunday's fun day. I'm off.
Eastern time. Important to say. 11 Eastern, correct?
Yes, Eastern.
11 Eastern, yes. And Jamie, themastersoctave.org, you can find her information. Much love, everyone. Thank you for joining us.